Welcome back to another episode of the Journey of You podcast, the Joycast. And today we have a really awesome topic. I'm really excited about this. It's beliefs. And I feel, especially if you're in the spiritual community, you often hear that thoughts create your reality, and you have to be aware that you don't have all these negative thoughts and all the things that can happen. And I know several people who are very afraid of having negative thoughts, and they're like, really, oh my God, I can't think that. But truth is that beliefs create our reality, and the beliefs are much deeper. They're underneath, and the thoughts are like symptoms that we see on the surface level, and the thoughts give you an indication of what the belief is actually at underneath, but it's on the surface. So it's really about the beliefs.
Welcome back to another episode of Joy, the Journey of You podcast. We're your hosts, Devin and Chris, and we're here for joy.
This podcast is your permission slip to reconnect to your inherent joy and to embrace it.
Let's fill up the cosmic joy pot together as we dive into today's episode. And then those beliefs are really entrenched from when we were kids, and some of the belief systems that we started to develop when we were young. And the thing that we want to lean into is that you're not going to be able to change your beliefs, but being aware of your beliefs, that's when you allow yourself to step out of them and suspend it. And that's where you basically get out of your own way. But so first and foremost is becoming aware you have beliefs, and that once you start to become aware of your beliefs, because we all have different belief systems based off our childhood and the things that happen to us. So when we're aware of them, that's when we are able to be back in the control seat and step out of it. And then conversely, when we're totally unconscious that we even have beliefs that are running a show, right? We're at their mercy. And especially, it's like on one layer, if you're unaware that you have beliefs that are running a show, that's like one level of unconsciousness. The next level of unconsciousness, which is more conscious but still unconscious, if that makes sense, is that you want to learn about, is like if you're unconscious to your belief systems and your stuff, right? Then you're going to be victim to them. You're going to be victim to them because you're unconscious to it, right? We want to help you with that, by the way. So that's exactly why we're having this episode. And of course, we have a slew of examples because we are speaking to this because we have lived it. And
we are human beings.
Exactly.
Surprise.
That's a good point, Chris, right? It's to remind people that, like, I love that you're bringing up like people believing that they need to not have beliefs or thoughts. And it's just, okay, let's just all be clear. This is simply part of being a human being.
Mm-hmm.
It's all, like, we all have them. So please don't fault yourself for having them. However, you can become more consciously aware and work within them and work in and around them, if you will, right?
And work with them. And the thing is that I want to mention here is that so many people feel that they need to work on erasing or deleting their
clearing beliefs.
Exactly, clearing the limiting beliefs. It's such a big thing. And maybe it's possible for people. I have not met anybody. I have not experienced it myself. I've done a lot of work on it as well. And they are just there. And it's a good thing that they're there because they create tension. And I believe that we have talked about this in a past episode about tension, but there's like, they create energy, like they create friction in our lives. And if we become aware of them, we can use that tension, we can use that energy for something that we would love, right? So,
and even furthermore, what just hit me was like, we can create new beliefs.
Exactly.
Right? We can create new beliefs, because if beliefs are running the show, like let's get some helpful ones.
Yes, exactly.
Get some ones that serve me towards where I would really love to be going, versus those unconscious beliefs are usually the ones that are drawing us and yanking us back. Whereas, like, what if we had beliefs that were drawing us forward into what we would love in our lives?
Exactly. Yes.
Right? But I love you brought that up because I think that that is a big distortion in the spiritual community is this whole idea of clearing beliefs. And what comes to me about that is you could probably get like a sense of separation for a few days, but it's just gonna
Mhm.
come
Come
back in,
back. It's
right? As
just
soon as
so ingrained.
it's
Yeah.
so ingrained, and as soon as you're provoked in something, it's just like boom, it's there, right?
Mhm. And also it's just so much work, so much time, so much energy, and so much frustration because it keeps coming back.
Mhm.
That like there's so much easier path.
Right? Totally. So much. So let us help you, friends. Yeah, so for me, I remember, not even remember, it literally just happened today, while we were prepping for this episode, as it tends to, because like we're just using like real examples. I love to use the real examples that I'm experiencing right now because it shows that I'm a human being and that this is how we are actively engaging structural systems of living from our higher and living in from intuition. But I run a belief within my belief system that I need to be super original, right? Like nothing that's ever been said in humanity ever. Like if I got
Ever.
ever, right?
We don't use quotes.
And there's some validity to being original. However, in having a belief of I need to be super original constantly, all the time, and have a fear of not co of like I don't want to copy other people or when I'm creating things, what that actually did for me or does for me, if that belief system, if I'm grabbing onto that, it holds me back from creating anything at all. It ends up actually being an excuse to just do nothing, actually. So my belief creates a reality that like, oh, it's not worth it to actually do anything. Or even if I did, it's already been said. Oh my God, the number of times, oh my God, the number of times that has come up of like that has already been said is insane. Like when I was writing the book, the number of times that I was like, this has already been said. Like this is stupid. Why should I even share this? It's already been said.
Hmm.
And what I have learned and really been reinforced into me just this last weekend is that truth is eternal. Truth, like truth has been said in many different ways by various different people, but truth retains it. It has structural integrity. Truth just simply is.
Hmm.
It just simply is. So when I'm saying something that's truthful, it probably has been said before, but there's a reason it needs to be heard now in my voice, the way that
I
I
was
would
just
say
I was just
it.
gonna say because it lands differently with everybody who says it. And like in the past, it used to frustrate me like to the core when I've been preaching something to somebody and they would not get it. And then somebody else said it one time and they were like,
Right?
oh my God, now I get it. And I was like, really? Like, really?
I feel you, girlfriend. I have had that time. I'm like rolling the eyes, like, seriously,
Yeah.
I just told you that last week.
The last year. Yeah.
I know, yeah, right? And so basically in that it's like my beliefs were clouding my experience and they were basically really clouding the opportunity for me to actually receive truth and be in truth and then share truth with other people and that it's an egoic strategy in my belief system that will basically like the whole purpose behind it what it does is it makes me not create it makes me not do things it keeps me inactive whereas when it's that I have a truth to share in my own unique way, right? As going back on, we've done these truth episodes of each of our truths is that when I share my truth, it resonates with somebody who needs to hear it from me, from
Mhm.
my vibration, from my perspective. So, it's been a big shift, and truthfully, it continues to shift real time. And so that's an example in my life. How about you, Chris?
I just want to add on to yours also that um, when we connect to our soul truth, as we shared in our two past episodes, three with Felicia's now, that should be out by the time this airs.
Mhm.
Um, when we connect to our soul truth, we connect to oneness, right?
Mhm.
And in oneness, like there's like one universal truth that unifies everything.
Mhm.
And there's so many facets, there's so many shades, there's so many variations of it, but it's still that resonance of truth. So when you connect into that, you're connected to oneness. And I just really love that. And yeah, I'm happy to share.
The truth, folks.
um yes,
Truth.
it's true. Yes, so what I want to share is actually when we think of beliefs, at least in this spirituality how do you call it? Like in this,
Realm?
yes, where people work with limiting beliefs is it's mostly around negative beliefs, right? So it's all about how do my beliefs limit my life? But
Mm.
what I find, what you touched on earlier, Devin, as well, is that we can also have very positive beliefs, not just the ones that we create, but the ones that we have integrated into our lives early on, just like the limiting ones that keep us safe, we can have positive ones. And for me, for example, one really positive belief is that we are here to experience joy. And I truly believe that. I believe that so much that I thought this was true for everybody, right? And I was like, wow, they just haven't figured that out yet. They just don't know it yet. But it is true for everybody. And I integrated it into the book that I'm writing. Like this is true for everybody. This is a universal truth. Except it's not, it's my belief. Yes. And for me, because I have this deeply anchored belief that is what I experience in my life. That is the thoughts that I create on the surface. That is the experiences that I have. That is the emotions that I have. But obviously, not always, all the time, unfortunately. But it's like the red thread in my life. And people say, you're so lucky. And, all these good things come into your life. Life is so easy for you, blah, blah, blah. And I think I'm quite sure that that is anchored in this belief that I have, that I grew up with. And like you said, we can choose to create these beliefs in our life, and we can experiment with that and can say, so what if I believed that we're here for the joy? What
Yeah.
if I believe that everybody is here for the joy? Like if my life rotates and revolves around joy, and see what that brings.
Yeah. What
Yeah.
if? I mean, it made a podcast be born.
Yeah. What if?
Right? Exactly, right? Is
Yeah.
that yeah, those positive beliefs can be of service actually, right? And
Mhm.
to not only ourselves but others in the world too, of that right? Like why not share joy? Why not have other people realize that we're here to experience joy and that that joy is accessible, right? That's what our whole
Mhm.
shtick is with this joy
Mhm.
cast is that
Mhm.
we're here to cast out joy. Hello, Pitfall.
Exactly.
Like we're
And
here
it's
for
like
joy.
creating that belief and anchoring that belief in the listeners and you to see that that is accessible, that that is possible, that is a belief that you can hold and that can change your life.
Totally, totally. And that
Yeah.
give like what comes to me also too, it gives you that impetus to create and do change, right? Whereas
Mm.
like mine was, like pulling me back, that can have you move forward, but also it can keep you in that illusion of that you're walking down the street and it's like, why isn't everybody happy?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes.
Guys know? Don't you guys know? Yeah.
Haven't you heard?
Haven't you heard the news?
Wake up. Yeah.
Right? So speaking of waking up, let's wake up. Yeah? Shall we?
Michelle.
So we're going to do a little demonstration of how you can play with this yourself and see what's going on in your belief systems, and then what it would be like if you suspended them and were living free of beliefs and actually living in truth. So take a moment, settle yourself, find a good place to just a few moments to be able to if you do well with closing your eyes, closing the eyes.
Not
But
driving.
if you're driving, yeah, eyes open, obviously, eyes open, and you can still imagine this while driving, okay? So I invite you to imagine that you're standing here and you have two circles in front of you. One is on the right, one is on the left. They're just kind of right here, right? Imagine like hula hoops right in front of you, okay? Circles right there. In the right circle are your beliefs. In the left circle, you're free of beliefs and you're living in truth. You're suspending your beliefs, living in truth. So before you even step into them, just kind of look at the scenery and just see the difference in the circles before you even go in. And then we're going to take a step in. So let's go ahead and step into the right side circle where you're steeped in your beliefs. So just step on in. And now you're in it. You are in your beliefs. You are steeped in it. They are just so ever present in front of you. What I invite you to do is notice what you see. Notice how you perceive things, the world, what your experiences are like. Noticing what beliefs really are on the surface, like blaring and smacking you in the face. Take note of that. What are the biggest, most roaring beliefs that you have, and what experiences do they bring by virtue of them? Good. Then what I invite you to do is step out of that circle, step over to your left circle, step inside of this circle. This circle is when you're living in truth. Notice the energy, how it feels in that circle, what you see, what you experience, how you experience yourself. And really take it exactly as it is, allowing yourself to receive what it's like when you're living in truth, suspending beliefs, being aware that you have them, but you're in truth. What do you see and experience there? Beautiful. And then I invite you to step out of that circle back into that kind of neutral space where you still can see the two circles. And then we're going to have a little chat about what our experience is like, but you log your own experience. So if you have the opportunity right now to write this down, just write down like steeped in belief circles, at least a couple notes, right? And then free of beliefs in living in truth, a couple notes. And if nothing else, again, if you're driving, be safe and just acknowledge, lock it in, and we're gonna share ours. So, Chris, what do you want to share?
It was
What was
very interesting because in the beginning I thought, so what if I step into the beliefs and the positive ones come up? But obviously, the limiting ones came up, and what was interesting, it was all very dark in there, and it reminded me of a session that I just had with a client the other day, where she was in a coal mine, working in a coal mine, and it was like all dark and smudgy, and that was like the big thing. It was hard, and the biggest one that came up for me was not being enough
Mhm.
and really having to work to and still I was this tiny tiny little dwarf, and I was working and working and working and not getting anything, like moving anything really. It was just terrible. Whereas in the circle without beliefs in my truth, I was, standing tall. I was like everything was sunny and bright and light. And what was very obvious to me is that I could see the lights of other people as well. Whereas in the beliefs, it was all dark. And in the truth circle, I just saw everybody's light shine, and my own light shone as well. And it was allowed to shine, and it was bright, and it was lighting up the space
Hmm.
for others as well. And it was really beautiful. Did you get something or did you not because you were
Oh, of
leading?
course.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. Sometimes when we
Absolutely.
lead, we don't get.
No, it was very real for me. So if steeped in my beliefs, it become it just like everything caved in. No, I wasn't in a
Mm.
cave, but it was just like the energies were just like, boom,
Oh, yes, very tight,
smushy,
tight.
compressive,
Yeah. Mm,
tight.
mm,
And the one that's really always in the forefront and it really came in this time was like there's a right way of doing
mm,
things, right?
mm,
And so what that does for me is it makes me really tense and tight and like having to control and think. My head hurts so much in that space,
mm,
and it's just like,
mm,
oh, all my energy is going to so much trying to figure shit out and just trying to like get it right, you know?
mm,
Well,
mm.
okay. And then so when I went over to my living in truth circle, expanded.
Mm,
Everything is just like the world is open. It's an open field to
yes.
experience what's
Mm,
happening. And I'm so much more in the present moment, allowing life to unfold and allowing myself to just be natural,
be. Mm.
exist, be, and breathe. Yeah. So
Mm,
that is what I experienced in those
mm.
circles today.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I just also want to say that um when we see these two circles next to each other, when we experience it, both true, I mean, both experiences are equally available to us, right? And we have that choice when we're aware that we don't have to live in that coal mine as a dwarf, right? And that's why it's so easy for us to share these things also because everybody has it, and it's something that we usually like to hide. Like we usually, for me, the not enoughness, for example, you know, everybody tries to show up as perfect and enough and all these things, except that's just not human. That's just not who how we're made, right? And well, we're obviously perfect, imperfectly perfect, but when we become aware of that, we just don't give it any significance anymore because it's not, it's, we know that it's not who we are at our core. And that's why in our coaching sessions, it's so easy to be present with whatever crap hits the fan because we know it's just not true. It's not reality, and we have that choice, right?
Well, and that's the value of, what we do in our coaching sessions, but also what we're providing you and sharing with you on the podcast is that it's it's by seeing the full point of view and seeing it like here the lenses that I can and do experience life in.
Mm,
And the invitation is to see that you have choice. Like when you see that both are there, that's
mm,
when you're not subject to it as much. It's still you still have to choose to be
mm,
conscious of it and not just go back into default because that's ultimately what most people do if they don't.
yeah.
And that's why we have coaches, why we have coaching clients is because oftentimes left to your own devices, you're going to fall back into your default patterns
Mm,
because those beliefs are pretty strong. They have a
mm.
lot, right? If you've spent 20, 30, 40 years, 50 years in a belief, in that belief space of the coal mine, and you're just chipping away at life, like you might need some help. That's why we're offering you this opportunity right now to be
Mm.
like, widen open the point of view, widen open your lens and see that there's more over in this other circle. And you have two ways, two modes of awareness, two orientations, and you get to
Two ways of experiencing life, and it's really that simple. You don't need to heal anything. You don't need to integrate anything. You don't need to use affirmations and all these things. It's really just noticing, what are my thoughts? What is the reality I'm co-creating? And what am I experiencing? Is that what I would love or not? And if it's not, you realize, oh, wow, I have a choice.
Mhm.
And you say, this is what I would love. I mean, this is a possibility. What I'm experiencing now, it's a possibility, but this is what I would really love. And then you switch your focus, your energy there, and that's where the energy flows, focus goes.
Yep. 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 We've said that many times, right?
Yes,
Where your
it's
focus goes.
true. It's true.
That's why we keep saying it. It's because truth.
Even though it's not original and invented by us, but it's true.
Fabulous. So, what was your experience? Witness that for yourself. And then, what would it be like if you chose, if you like made a choice? If you're ready to make the choice now. But if you're just kind of contemplating and just taking it all in, that's cool. Just witness it all. Witness it all, observe it all, and maybe play with this a little bit in your day so you can really start to get a sense of that. But ultimately, it is your choice, and this is our invitation: is become aware that you have a choice, and then make a choice. Yeah,
That
yeah,
easy.
that easy.
Mm.
Yep, yep. And notice if a belief popped up there that things can't be easy.
They need to be hard work in the coal
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, right? Like, we're not here to just be living and digging in the coal mine. We're actually here to be experiencing that gold of life and not just think that we're just here to have to chip away at it. Is there's so much gold in that open, expansive thing that I actually have an image of like the earth just like popping it up versus you having to dig it down.
Yes.
It just
Exactly.
emerges, right?
It's that easy.
That easy. That
Mm.
easy. That is easy. So that's your opportunity, everybody.
Yeah. And that's it for today. And we shall see you again in the next episode that is going to be magnificent because we already tuned in and we already know and we're already excited.
So until next time, here is to your joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.